the grandson of right thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light. The world that you live in, would you say that the inhabitants are obedient to the Father or rebellious? The people that you see around you, would you say that most of them do what Abba asks that we do, or are they rebellious to what he says? What would you say? Well, let's see what Abba says about those rebellious. All those that are living around you that are rebellious, that you observe on a daily basis. Let's see what Abba says about them. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, and start at verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children. See how it starts? Says Abba, that takes counsel, but not of me. Let's eat. So sadness, anguish, sorrow, problems, and hard times are given to the rebellious children because they don't take their counsel from Abba. Now, when you live your life, everything that you do, before you do it, do you consult Abba before you do it? Because according to this verse, you will have woe unto you if you don't consult Abba before you act. But as we were talking about in the beginning of this video, many children are rebellious. So Abba says, woe unto them, for they have taken counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin. So a covering, a hedge of protection, like when it says about a woman covering her head to show that she has power over her, we cover our heads with the Spirit of the Most High. Our thoughts, our feelings are all subject to the Spirit of God. In order to be subject, you can't be rebellious. See? You had to have submitted yourself to something. Rebellion never submits. That's what rebellion is. The unwillingness to submit to anything. You see? He says that they may add sin to sin. So a false covering, covering your head, looking like you're righteous or looking like you're clean, but you're doing that outwardly to appear righteous to people in the world, not before the Father. Hey, how you doing? You all right?
How are you?
Good, good. So it's outward righteousness. It's not true of the heart, you see? You're not willing to submit your heart to the Father, then you're being rebellious. So he goes on, he says, that go down into Egypt. You hear that? So I told you about the 3D covering to appear righteous, but not the covering of the Spirit, which is the true covering. He says these same people go down to Egypt. Why Egypt? Because Egypt represents the strength of the 3D world. It represents the power of this 3D world, synonymous with Caesar and Rome. It represents the power of this 3D world, dominion of the 3D. So these same people run to powerful people of the 3D or powerful leader or country or wherever they think power is in the world. That's where they run to for their security. You see? They run to the 3D for their security. He says, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. See? And to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Y'all understand that? So y'all ain't asking no counsel of me to be your protection, to feed you, to clothe you, to house you. You're looking to the world, to the government, to America, to money, to status, wealth, power, Egypt. You see? Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. Listen at that. That's going to be your shame. That's going to eventually be your downfall. The more earthly riches you have stacked up, the more woe unto you on the day of judgment. Seems strange, doesn't it? Because the world is telling you to stack up. And we're going to get to why they're telling you that here in a minute. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. That stuff is going to turn around and confuse you. Like your mortgages, like your car payments, like the economy and inflation. Now people are stressed and confused and being confounded by the world they live in. How can anybody survive out here? This same country, people weren't asking that before. Why? Because you were duped. You were deceived by Egypt. You were deceived, you see? And we're going to read why. He says, let's go to verse 5. And they were all ashamed of a people that could not profit them, nor be a help, nor profit, but a shame, and also a reproach. That's America. So all the people that ran to America, thinking that America was some wonderful, great thing, when America falls, they're going to fall right along with it. Because they believed a lie. They were deceived. They were drunken with that cup that she's serving to everybody, getting everybody drunk with it, which is a lie. You see? The burden of the beast of the south and the land, let's go ahead, forward. 7. For the Egyptians shall help in vain. The Americans shall help in vain. Remember, there's a place that's spiritually called Egypt. So one of the code names of the end time kingdom is Egypt. You see? He says, they shall help in vain and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still. He says, y'all are running around trying to save this nation from falling apart, trying to save your house from being foreclosed, trying to save your car from being repossessed, trying to save yourself from being evicted, trying to this and trying to that and trying and trying and trying. He says, you're doing all of that, working, when I told you your power is to sit still. Now, when the last time you went to Egypt, America, or any Western society, and they told you, if you want something, just sit still and pray, and God will provide it for you? When the last time you heard them tell you that? They don't. They tell you hard work. Shit, damn it. Get out there and be a useful member of society and do something with yourself. And then you'll become somebody and you'll have all of the riches and you'll have all of the American dream. See? That's what they tell you. But Abba says, your power is to sit still. And we've seen him demonstrate that many times in scripture to prove that he's not lying. Stand still and see the salvation of Abba. If you want to be saved, you must stand still first. If you're in the water, thank you, Abba, you're so wise. If you're in the water and you're drowning and someone jumps into the water to save you, if you keep flailing around crazy, you may cause you and that person to drown who's trying to save you. But if when they come and they grab you, if you just be still and relaxed, then you'll be saved easier, won't you? See? Well, it's the same that goes here. The same that goes here. If you stand still, you can be saved. If you're working and running around and trying to do something, you won't be. Now let's see if we can get one more example before I continue. Yahushua on the boat, the men are throwing the water all off the boat because they're afraid, because they're going to die. See? They're working to try to save themselves. Yahushua was asleep. He was still. Peace be still is what he said. Why do you think he said that? He's telling everybody, peace be still. Your strength is to sit still. Stand still and watch the salvation of Abba. Out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. I think it's wise that we sit still. See? He says, the Egyptians cannot help. Their strength is to sit still. Now go, write it before them in a table and note it in a book that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. Write what in a book? To sit still. Now, is it in the book? I just gave you the proof that it is in there. Forever. That's our power, Israel. But there are rebellious children who are living around you who are putting pressure on you. I was just talking to a brother through email not too long ago, and he was telling me about how he moved in with his parents and he's living there, and they're pressuring him to get a job, and he knows it's going to get worse. The pressure cooker is going to rise as he's living there more, and he doesn't have a job. He knows they're going to put more pressure on him. That's what he was describing to me. That's what I'm describing to you. Sit still. In order to read Abba's word and to eat it, you have to sit still and eat it. When you're eating dinner, you don't go around working on a car trying to eat dinner, or you're trying to working out in the gym while eating dinner. You sit still when you eat dinner. You sit your ass on the couch and flick the TV on or whatever to watch something while you're eating and sitting still. You understand what I'm saying? But they don't want you to sit still because they know you're going to read the word. So they say, no, work. 3D is what matters. Doing the 3D work is what matters. Do 3D work and then you'll have the thing you're looking for. See? You see? He says, write it in the table. What? That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord. See? They won't hear that, sit still. They won't hear that. And I proved it to you that they don't hear it because they're being told it. If they knew it, they'd do it. But since they didn't know to do it, they was panicking. And they had to be told to do it because they're rebellious. You see? Because of fear. Now watch this. He says, this is the real interesting part here. He says, children that will not hear the law of the Lord, verse 10, which say to the seers, see not. Let's stop right there first before we continue. They say to the seers, see not. Don't see. Seer comes to the people to try to tell him what he saw. And they're like, don't tell us what you saw. Don't have visions and dreams from God. Don't tell us what God has said. Wow. Okay. But what do you see in your world? You see millions and millions of people running, talking about we're hearing the words of God. Can't be so. According to this, can't be so. He says, they say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Don't tell us the right thing. Now, my question to you is, why are they saying that? So imagine if you went to church and your pastor was preaching, what about what he was saying would cause you to tell him to stop? What could he possibly be saying to you that would make you say, stop prophesying, man. Don't preach that stuff to us. What is you hearing that make you say that? What do you think? Who's listening to this message? What do you think they're hearing? Now, I want you to take that same concept and apply it to today. If you hear a prophet speak or a seer speak to you and you're rebellious, you're going to tell him not to speak to you. You're going to tell him to stop speaking to you, correct? Why? Because you don't want to hear the right thing. That's what they said. Don't speak right things. Don't prophesy right things. And then they're going to tell you what they prefer to hear. Okay? He says, don't prophesy unto us right things. He says, but speak unto us smooth things. Prophesy deceits. Did y'all hear that right there or not? Smooth things. Smooth is the same word for flattery to the Hebrew. Flattery is smooth speech. Smooth speech is deceit. Flattery is deceit. Do you read that in the Bible? A deceitful tongue to keep you from the smooth tongue of the woman who speaks flattery with her words. To keep you from her, the same woman that's making everybody drunk. See, it's her. Sitting on many waters, making all the nations drunk with the wine of her fornication, speaking smooth things and deceits. The people are asking for that. So if you are one who is a prophet or a seer who stands up before the people to speak, what are they going to say to you? I've already asked you guys, is the world full of righteous people or rebellious people? And you already gave your answer. So if the world is full of rebellious people, then how are they going to feel when a prophet of God stands up and starts speaking to them? Are they going to listen to him? No. They're actually going to tell him to lie. You hear that? I want y'all to hear that. Do y'all know that prophets go through that? That while they're ministering and doing their work, that there are people telling them to lie? There are people actually telling them to deceive them? You hear that? Do you hear it? He says, prophesying to us deceits. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path and cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. You hear that? That means tell God to shut up. That's what it means. Tell God to shut up. We don't want to hear him. And you get out of my way. So for instance, like this video right now, someone who is rebellious, when they hear this, they're going to just turn it off. I don't want to hear that. And then they're going to derail me. Oh man, that guy, man, he ain't speaking nothing worth nothing, man. He ain't talking the truth. Well, you want me to deceive. So what do you know about the truth? So he says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. So it's very simple what I was saying. He's talking to his people Israel. His people Israel have been in slavery so many times throughout history, and no one can deny it, even though they try to, because the world loves deceit. They love lies and smooth things, things that they can swallow down easily. Is this easy to swallow down? Hey, America, do you know, because you allowed hundreds and hundreds of years of slavery and death and lynching and iniquity and false laws and lies to prevail in your land against a certain people, you're going to pay, because the Bible says you reap what you sow. Now, you think that's easy to be heard? Or is that smooth? It's not smooth. It's hard to be told that. Well, how many times in the Bible do you hear a prophet do that exact thing to a people? That's what they do. I give you guys an example. There was a prophet one time who thought to speak some smooth things to the people. And he told the people of Israel that everything was going to work out good for them and that nothing was going to go wrong. Jeremiah was alive at this time, prophet of the Most High. And when he heard that prophecy, he knew it was false. He knew that Abba didn't speak peace over the people, but he spoke destruction unto them. And so he said, well, if your prophecy come to pass, then good. But if it don't come to pass, then we know you didn't lie. We know it. And when it didn't come to pass, they knew he lied. You see that? And Jeremiah delivered the true prophecy, which was woe, destruction. Why do you think he wrote Lamentation? You don't lament over smooth things. You don't lament over things that are good to be heard, easy to be heard. You don't. You lament over harsh news, like 400 years slavery on some people, you got to pay. You don't want to hear that. No one wants to hear that if they find themselves being on the opposite end. You see? Which the whole wide world is. They all perpetuated this lie to this day. They won't be honest with those people to this day. And you have to read Psalm 83 to understand why nobody's being honest with those so-called slaves. Why no one is. The Bible said no man would. It said it. It said, because of your rebelliousness, Israel, the whole world is going to turn against you and give you smooth deceits. You're black. That's a deceit. You're African American then. That's a deceit. You're colored then. Okay, I noticed that every time I find out that you're deceiving me, you just give me a new deceit. I want you to tell me the truth. Well, they can't. They cannot. They are confederate against you. They're not going to break their oath. They're confederate against you, the Bible says. They all came together against you. Now, I want you guys to tell me, what people on the earth got the whole wide world coming against them as a people? Who is that on the earth? Who's constantly being lied to about who they are? Okay then. Okay then. That's because you trust in Egypt. That's because you trust in perverseness and stay thereon. What does that actually mean? It means you'd rather work for your bread than sit still for it. You value the bread of the earth more than the bread that comes from heaven. But if you value the bread that comes from heaven over everything else, then you would have your daily bread every day. That's what Yahushua taught us. You seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and the rest shall be added. But you're not seeking first the kingdom of heaven. You're seeking first Egypt, your job, your company, your boss. Your boss. That's who you're reverencing. Every day he tells you to do something and you do it. But you go home, your husband tells you to do something. Woman, you don't do it. But you do what your boss tells you to do. Y'all all worship Egypt. The man does the same thing. He does what his boss tells him to do. You see? That's just the way it goes when you're in Egypt. Slave. Y'all didn't read the Bible? All right, so he says, because you despise the word and trust in oppression. See? The same people I'm talking about, have they been oppressed? And it's so strange when I ask these questions, I very rarely get answers from anybody. It's strange. Hopefully while you're in your house, you're answering it. But the thing is, who are the people who have been oppressed, who have been crying out about oppression for years and years and years and years and decades and decades and decades and decades? Who are those people? In the land of the free, crying out for freedom. Who are they? Are y'all silly or something? You're in the land of the free, crying out for freedom, to be free. And everybody just sits there and just disacknowledges it. Disacknowledge. They don't acknowledge it. You know? So he says, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high hill, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. So you stacking up your riches, you're doing earthly things to try to live a good life and to try to be somebody in this world. That's all building up like a big ass balloon that's going to pop unexpectedly. It's going to pop unexpectedly. You're not going to know that it's popping when it pops. You're not going to expect it. You're just blowing it up because you think the bigger it gets, the happier you are. You don't know the bigger it gets, the more horrendous that pop is going to be. You see? Suddenly at an instant, and he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel. See? As soon as it gets nice and big and you feel peace and safety about your life, he's going to shatter it. And he shall not spare. That means everybody who blew up balloons is going to get their balloon popped. Everybody who got a balloon will get it popped. He's not going to spare you no matter what you do, no matter what you cry. I've warned you guys about this. I'm telling you, you better suck that air back out of that balloon and throw that balloon in the trash. You better. He says, he shall break it as a potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a shard. So like when a balloon bursts, you won't be able to find even a little piece of that balloon anymore when it explodes. Yikes. Wow. You must have really had that thing inflated. Yeah. Yeah, you did. You were chasing the bag, and the bag burst, and the whole bag was exploded. You couldn't even find a piece of the bag. You couldn't even find the Louis Vuitton logo no more when it exploded. He says, he said, the bursting of it, a shard to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. You won't be able to use the bag anymore, the bucket, whatever. You won't be able to use it anymore because it's so shattered and busted. So in other words, you won't be able to build anything up anymore. So once the money falls that you stacked up, and once it falls, you won't be able to build that money back up to do anything. It's over. It's over. That's why he said, don't set your heart on it. This all goes together, guys. For thus saith Abiyah, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall you be saved. That's why I keep imploring you guys. I had a video recently that says, are you tired enough to rest? I told you guys, it's about resting. We have rested from our labors, we who know the truth. We are resting. Christ says, I come to give you rest. We're all making him a liar if he come into our life and we keep working. Outwardly, no. The laboring that's done is in our hearts and in our minds, which we're going to read here in a second. He says, for thus saith Abiyah, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall you be saved, in quietness and in confidence. See, sitting there quietly and confidently. Peace be still. Storm is going on around you and you're standing here like this. quietly, confidently, shall be your strength, and you would not. See, the rebellious ones, they wouldn't even hear it. He said, no, that don't make sense when an army is coming towards you to stand there like there's no army, to stand there confidently while they're running toward me. Well, then you don't know the truth. You don't know that one of you can chase many and two of you will put 10,000 to flight. If you believe that, then you'd be chilling. See? He says, but you said no, for we will flee upon horses. See what I'm trying to explain? See how clear it is, everybody? Instead of standing there when you see the army coming, you took off on your horse to flee. You thought that was going to save you. But he who seeks to save his life shall lose it. But he who gives up his life shall find it. So I'm standing right here. I give up my life. Come on and run at me and do whatever you think you can try to do. Go ahead. Swing your sword, shoot your bullets and all that shit. Should put a bomb and a nuclear bomb if you feel like that'll do it. Do whatever you need to do and I'll be standing. Because I know the truth. I'm confident in it. See? That's what he wants. But y'all ran on your horses. Hell no, that don't make sense, grandson. We're out of here. Pew! Okay. He says, he says, you will flee upon your horses, therefore shall you flee. He says, all right, y'all gonna run, go ahead and run. And we will ride upon the swift, therefore they that pursue you be swift. So when you run, the ones that's chasing you are gonna be faster than you and they're gonna catch your ass. You see? But you said no. Let's go one more script. He says, 1,000 shall flee at the rebuke of one. Didn't I just say this to you? And at the rebuke of 5 shall ye flee, till you be left as a beacon upon the top of a mountain and as an ensign on a hill. Y'all hear that? And therefore will Abba wait, that he may be gracious unto you. And therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For Abba is a el of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him. See? Don't run. Don't scatter and flee. Just because these niggas acting crazy and foaming all at their mouth and riding on a horse like Genghis Khan and shit with an arrow pointed at me and shit, slobbing all at his mouth and everything, drooling. That don't mean a damn thing to me, nigga. Whatever you ate last night, I hope you enjoyed it, Genghis. I hope you enjoyed what you ate last night because that's your last meal, nigga. That's the attitude you're supposed to have, you see. He says, for the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more, and he will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. So if you stand still and cry out to Abba from your heart, deliver me. I am delivered. See? I am delivered. Save me. I am saved. There's a difference between the two, everybody. One's taking the Lord's name in vain, one's not. I am saved. You see? He says, they shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. What does that mean? Zion and Jerusalem. Zion is the northern kingdom. Jerusalem is the southern kingdom. The brain or the thoughts, the heart has its own brain, which are the heart's thoughts. You see? The feelings of the body, which are the heart's thoughts or feelings. You see? Well, those two must dwell in harmony with one another in order for Abba to hear your cry. Otherwise, your cry is not coming out pure. Bear with me, you will understand this perfectly. If I want to be saved, then my heart and my thoughts and my heart are in unison that that's what I'm asking for. That's what I'm desiring. If I don't feel like I'm waiting to be saved, but I'm going to save myself by riding off on my horse, then I'm giving an illusion because I'm riding off on my horse, which I think is going to save me, but the whole time I'm riding it, I'm saying, save me, save me, save me. Well, I'll never be saved as long as I'm doing that. As long as I'm taking those buckets of water, throwing the bucket of water off of the boat while it's sinking, I'm saying, save me, save me, save me. Yahusha's in the boat saying, I am saved. I am safety. Peace be still, proving that I am safety, see? Where I am, there you shall be, in that perfect place of peace between your heart and your mind. That's where Christ is. He's not disjointed. His eye is single. You must make your eye single. which means your desires and your thoughts have to match, guys. You can't cry to God for something, saying you desire it, but you really don't want it. Or you say you want it, but you really don't desire it. Understand what I'm saying? How many times have we done that in our life? Thought we wanted something and then changed our mind. So then our eye wasn't single then. It wasn't true. See what I'm trying to say? But if your I am safe and your feelings match that thought, now Abba hears that cry and he answers it. He performs what you said according to the word in truth. You hear it? You hear? Because your thoughts believe, your feelings believe your thoughts. Your wife believes your husband. Your Jerusalem believes your Zion. They're one. They agree. You see what I'm saying? And now you have made peace between the two. The partition is broke down. That's keeping you from your blessings, which is your thoughts and feelings aren't matching when you ask God. In other words, you're not asking, believing, I am safe. Well, you can say that all day long, but do your feelings inside of your body match? Is your heart pumping all crazy with adrenaline while you're saying, I am safe? That doesn't match. Y'all hear what I'm saying? You can be standing there still, but not be at peace, in other words. Gourmet cuisine, guys. This is not milk or steak. This is gourmet, top-notch, top shelf. You have to be an elect vessel to understand what I'm talking about today. It's just the truth. This is foolishness to the world. If I'm not talking about how to make some more money today, they don't want to hear it. If I'm not talking about how to get a greater advancement in life, then they don't want to hear it. If I'm not talking about how to get more fame, more followers, more subscribers, more blue checks, they don't want to hear it. You see? He says, and therefore will the Lord wait, that he may be gracious unto you, and therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy on you. Verse 19, for the people shall dwell in Zion and Jerusalem, you shall weep no more. He shall be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee. And though Abba give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed in a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. So basically, when you're growing up and you're asking God for truth, when your heart isn't really asking God for truth, your eyes are beholden from those who can help you reach the pinnacle of truth. The teachers, the seers and the prophets that you're saying, don't talk to me. You can say, yes, brother, preach, but your heart is saying, I don't want to hear this crap. That's two people. God don't deal with that. He's one. So your thoughts and feelings have to be pure. When you say, God, I want to know the truth, your heart has to be ready and prepared to really receive it. You've let all fear go. I don't care if I die. I have to know it. I have to know what's true. Now you're ready for your teacher to appear. And then you'll start to see your teachers and then you'll hear it. And then you'll say, wow, these were all the things I was kicking against before what I'm hearing now. But now I'm hearing them in truth. That's what Abba just said to you. If you stop being rebellious, stop lying, saying you want something you don't want, saying you don't want something that you're asking for. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Stop being afraid. You can't say I don't want to die and then be afraid, buddy. Y'all understand that today? So just know that that's the world you're living in. You said it yourself. The world is full of rebellious people that don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear deceitful things. I told you what Abba said to remove out of your mouth is deceit. So if he removed the deceit out, then they're going to try to find something else to say why they shouldn't listen to you. Oh, you cuss, man, when you talk, man. That's not, you shouldn't be listened to. You see what I'm saying? Any little excuse they can find. Shalom, Israel.